Anytime now. Okay, hello everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on when and where you're watching this Facebook Live. This is the voice and the face of Dr. Tulo Labinto. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Living Spring Family Medical Center here in the amazing but very cold now city of Mansfield, Texas. If you are watching live, please in the comment, hashtag live. If you're watching replay, hashtag replay. I am very, I know I see this a lot, I'm very excited, but I am pleased and delighted to be having this topic today. We're talking about tips to reducing the risk of divorce. And I'm happy to have Dr. I don't want to say if I pronounce it right, Dr. Oseghale.
Oseghale.
Oseghale. I try. Oseghale. Dr. Oseghale, thank you for joining us this evening. How are you? How are you? How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Saying hi from upstate New York. We're cold, so cold. Yeah.
So I shouldn't be complaining
No,
because
no complaint. Absolutely no complaint.
it's cold the way you are. All right. All
Single
right,
digit.
Doc. Uh, ours is still double digits, but relative to Texas, everybody's kind of nervous and they're planning maybe they'll shut down and whatnot. But we're here, so thank you for coming on this cold evening to join us. But please, for those who are watching, could you kindly? Oh, we have people watching live. Thank you, Mommy Lovexo, for joining. Could you introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do? And why do you do the things that you do?
All right. So, hello, everyone. I'd like to introduce myself this way. So, I am Kome Oseghale. My name actually means God's gift. So, I'm a daughter of the Most High God, and I'm a follower of Jesus.
I love Jesus
I,
too.
I am a wife, a mother, and I am a woman. Most importantly, I'm a woman. And there's a reason why I say that. Professionally, I am a board certified general pediatrician and practice here in upstate New York. And I am a physician coach for wives who are struggling in their marriages. So that's how I introduce myself. The question you asked is, well, how did I get into this? Or how did I? So,
Yes, yes.
yeah, I'll tell you what. So I'm married to an amazing man. He's God fearing, very smart, very loving, kind and protective of me, and a very good provider for our family. Now, we met in church about 33 years ago.
Wow.
And yeah, so more than half of my life. And we fell in love and we've been married for 23 years. And, but interestingly, I struggled so much in my marriage
Hmm.
that I said, I got us to this place on the brink of divorce. And this is what happened. I remember this cold, it was fall. It was this fall day, it was beautiful. My husband and I were sitting in the marriage counselor's office on a gray couch. Now we were sitting on the opposite end of the couch. When we started, we were sitting close together. Now, but this time was about a year. We were sitting on the opposite end of the couch. Now, I was thinking in my mind, how did we get here? That instead of getting closer, we're getting wider and wider physically and emotionally. And I could not fathom why. And we went to marriage counseling. I actually took him to marriage counseling because I wanted the counselor to fix him because I thought, he's the one, something is wrong.
It's never us. It's never us.
Gotta fix him. And I thought he was the one that needed to change for our marriage to succeed at that time. And but guess what happened that day? We've been going for about a year. The counselor told us that she could no longer help us.
Wow.
And I was so heartbroken and devastated. But she called me aside and said she advised me to get a separation because from her experience, when a wife asks for separation for the husband, he sits up like a threat. He sits up and does right. And guess what? I believe that she was the expert, and I took in her advice and did exactly what she shared with me. She gave me the support. She gave me the guidance what I was going to do. I thought she knew what I was doing, what she was doing. Now, I was clear that I did not want a divorce. I just wanted a separation, just to, you know, how you shock shock his system to
Tell
get him,
them how we missed you. How we missed you.
you know,
Yes.
but it backfired, right? Now, my husband refused separation. He told me that separation was equal to divorce. That was how he said it to me. He said, Kome, if you change, everything will change. We will change. We will be okay. And I was like, so angry and so mad at him. Like, what do you mean? You're the one that needs to change. And his response got me so mad. Uh, the fact was that marriage counseling was our last resort. That was what I thought. I had read a lot of books on marriage. I had gone to lots of retreats. I had gone to seminars. In fact, I have done the 40 days fast. If you know, if you are in the church, you go on like 40 days fast and praying and begging God, you know. And I read books like Five Love Languages. Like, I know what my love language is, and I'll try to share it to him. You're not giving me gifts. You're not giving words of affirmation. And he'll just look at me and shake his head. I did the love and respect. I'm just giving you some of the books I read. I read quite a lot.
Love and respect,
It
Egerson.
wasn't, it wasn't working. None of it was working. I wanted to remain married, but I didn't know how. And so at that time, it was a mystery to me what changed between us, because my husband was so passionately in love with me. In fact, he could literally take a bullet for me. He actually did. That's a story for another day. But so I didn't know what was happening. And after a particularly bad quarrel, I asked my husband to leave. I thought that if he left, I'll be happier. I'll be able to handle my life. And so he left when he got a job abroad. And we were both angry and in a very bad place. It was after he left, I'm like, no way. I don't want a separation. I don't want a divorce. That's not what I want. You know, what I really wanted was, you know, I wanted a marriage, a successful marriage, because I didn't grow up in a home with two parents together. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to make it in my own family, my own generation. And there was I going to the same pathway again. So I was desperate after he left. And I started searching and praying a lot to God. And that was when I found my marriage mentor. And you know what the saying is, that when the student is ready,
Mm,
the teacher appears. That's what happened.
mm.
And I think at this point, my desire to actually have a marriage was coming from a different place in my heart. I think my desperation actually led me to this point, right? So she told me, she said that, you know what, Kome, you can single-handedly transform your marriage without your husband's conscious effort. I was like, huh? As long as she's not telling me witchcraft, I'm willing to do this. So I delved into this with every zeal and excitement, you know? And that was when I found out some things about myself I didn't really know. I didn't know I was so controlling. Like, me, I'm a daughter of the Most High God. I'm humble. No, I was a very controlling wife, in a very subtle. My husband tried to tell me, but I didn't understand it, what he was saying. I didn't understand his language. You say, Kome, I'm not your 9-year-old son. I'm like, what do you mean? Right? We are both adults. We're both educated. What do you mean? Kind of stuff. And so my journey of self-discovery came from there. I learned that I didn't even know what it meant to be respectful to a man, what respect means to a man. I thought if I cooked his food, I cleaned the house, I brought money home, and that's respect. No, it was something completely different. So I had to learn all that stuff. And I found out that I was doing things wrongly, and also my mindset.
It's different.
And so those were the things I had to change. So I was committed to practicing the skills and changing my mindset. And that was where my transformation happened. And I just worked on myself. And one of the biggest thing I did was self-care. Now, as a physician, and you know that we work so hard to
Mm,
get to where we are, and then we continue working hard. And there is little left for yourself. Like for myself, there was little left for myself to even have fun and enjoy. So I was a very miserable person. Now I
mm,
go to
mm.
work, give to my patients, and when I come home, what I have is left is burnt toast.
Leftover.
It's leftovers. And
Mm,
so I am angry, easily triggered. And in fact, I remember those days when I'm coming home, my kids will see me at the door and they take off to their room like the witch is coming home. That's what I think, right? But so I changed and I started practicing self-care, and I started putting a lot of the skills that I learned into practice. So the conversation with my husband on the phone, it used to be so acrimonious. It went from being so hard and difficult to soft, gentle, and connecting.
Okay, Doc, we want to know how. We want to, so let me start because I love the story. I love that from your pain, you turned
Yeah,
into purpose and you found ways to empower women who maybe type A,
yeah,
bossy ladies,
yeah,
CEO in their own rights,
yeah,
how we can have it all, but
yeah.
we gotta work it out. So please, I want engagement in the comments. For those of you who are watching, if anything resonates with you, I want you to drop a fire emoji or something to let me know that this is helpful. So let's talk. What are the common factors that contribute to marital stress and potential divorce? And I don't want us to talk about the typical, yeah, he cheats, she cheats. Like
Oh no,
those are like kind of
that's
like kind
that,
of
that's
clear.
yeah. But I'll share this. I'll tell you this, right? You know, um, first of all, as a pediatrician, I want children to have a great, life, a healthy life. But
Mhm.
what I found out that here in North America, a lot of their problems are mental health, and it stems from unstable homes, and it stems from marriages are not going well, and so it kind of perpetuates, right? So when I fixed my marriage, guess what happened? My children who were also having issues, they changed as well. So
Mhm.
that's how powerful I am as a wife. Now, these are some things I didn't know. I didn't know that 40% of divorces of women who go of couples who go to counseling, 40% of them end up getting divorced. 40%. And out of that 40%, 90% of the divorces are initiated by college educated women, by doctors themselves. And the truth is that marriage counseling focuses on the weaknesses of both spouses, and nothing good comes out of that. Can you imagine going every 1 hour a week and paying someone to talk to each other, talk down to each other, and we leave the marriage counseling really mad and angry? So to answer your questions, what are some factors that causes stresses in marriage? One of them is misunderstanding of my role as a wife, my role as a wife in the marriage. Now,
And we're
paramount,
focusing on women here.
I'm
So
focusing on women. That's what I'm focusing
I,
because
I
that's my
want us I
experience.
want us to clear that because please, for those women watching, please don't see like we're taking sides. The
No,
men
no.
need to have their own talk, and we'll get the men need to have their own talk. But we're talking what we can do.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So what you can do single-handedly, okay? Misunderstanding the role. So the wife actually sets the temperature. She's a thermostat in the home.
Yes, we are.
So if the wife is happy, the home is happy. If she's not, she can make it tense and horrible. Okay. So your understanding of your role in the marriage, right? The second thing for me as an immigrant, the stress of settling into a different culture, different from mine, right? It does take its toll. For example, when I was home, when we were home, we had all the support system where grandma comes to help with the kid, and we had house help, we had all that. Here, you're on your own. And you
Mm.
know what? Because I am a perfectionist, I like to do. So work, work, work. I handled everything. And my husband wanted to help. I didn't even give him space. I didn't even know that he was looking to help. So first of all, the stress that I put on myself and
Mm.
settling into a new culture was one. The other thing that causes stress is the parenting styles, right? I grew up in a single family home where I saw my mom do everything, and guess what happens? I naturally want to do everything. My husband grew up in a home where mom and dad were together, where there was that dynamics, male female dynamics that I didn't see growing up. And so that was, unconsciously, I just assumed the role, as my mom. Then the other thing is money, right? Mindset about money. And money causes so much strife, so much struggle, right? The thing is that money is actually neutral. It's not about money, it's what is beneath it. And so actually, for me, it was trust. I didn't have trust. I grew up in a home where my dad wasn't there. So there's that thing in my mind, never trust any man, right?
Mm.
And so naturally, I didn't know that that was what I was bringing. And my husband was like, you don't trust me. He didn't give me any reason not to trust him, but it was just something inside me. It was my mindset. Then the other thing is about money. And then another thing I need to mention is that as a physician, right, we are in high income, right? We earn high income, right? And some of people, women I coach, they are the breadwinners in their home. And that can cause some friction if it's not well managed, right? So that's on the finances. Another thing is managing in-laws and family members, right? Where you shift sides and whose sides are you on. So if you are skilled, if you learn the skills, you are able to prioritize who the important relationships are, especially your husband. So you don't choose sides. The other thing is not being able to.
You are talking too fast. So you are
All
talking
right. Okay,
quick,
I'll
quick,
slow
quick.
down. I'll slow down.
Wow, we're gonna have to have a part two because we're already 15 minutes in,
Are
and
you
we have someone.
serious? Okay.
Yes, we're already 15 minutes in because what you're hitting on are major causes of contention, and so we've talked about the different culture. We talked about misunderstanding of roles in marriage. But let's. I'm gonna pull a question that someone asked. It says, "How do you get your husband to take a more active parenting role?"
Okay.
When there's a discord in, I think it was point number 3, parenting styles.
Okay.
There's the fun parent and the non-fun parent. So, any tips? Let's hit that one because a lot
So
of people.
guess what, right? I'm a pediatrician. And I feel like I know everything about parenting, right? But the thing is, you as a woman, you parent in a different, in a feminine way, right? The husband parents in a masculine way. So when my husband, like, I'll give you an example of this. This is a critical example. So my husband, we went for our daughter's basketball game, right? And their team lost the game, and we were coming back when he was hitting at her. You should have just done this. You should have done the ball this way. And I was getting angry, and I'm like, in my mind, I was thinking, oh my God, he's going to discourage her from playing. She's.
Mm,
And guess what? I just jumped in, and then we started bickering and fighting. I'm like, no, that's not how to talk to her. And he was like, what do you mean? You know what? In front of our kids, because of my fear that he would, stop
over.
her. Guess what happened? Our daughter continued to play, and her team went on to win this championship, right? His style of masculine parenting was so different from mine, but because he didn't look like mine, there I was jumping and trying to control him to make him look like me, like soft and tender. That's not how men parent. They're different. So what I learned was just to relinquish control of how he parents, relinquish control of how he interacts with his kids, with our kids, right? And just focus. And guess what? There was peace. Unlike how I used to want to control how he showed up with them,
So,
right?
do you suggest the behind the scenes? Like, how do we? I actually had someone have that discussion with me today, and he said he felt like sometimes his wife, he would be the one who was strict and give correction, and she would almost like underhand what he
Yes.
did,
Yes.
and she was playing it to her
Playing
advantage.
both sides.
And this was someone, he is actually the stepdad, so he
Okay.
felt kind of, so I know that's a different dynamic, but any tips on navigating that conversation? You mentioned that you did it in front of her, so it sounds like that's not something to do. But how
No,
do you
no. So,
broach
so
the
that was before I learned the
or
skills,
yeah,
right? So when I learned the skills, I learned to respect his own style of parenting as a man and let him be. Okay. And go and talk about it later, away from where I'm like, oh my God, I felt that, it was harsh, and he can explain to me why he did that, but not confront him disrespectfully in front of the kids, undermine his authority, right? So I now have a different way. If I had fears, and I have to look at it this way, that you know what, he also wants the best for our daughter.
you're both on the same team,
Well,
and
we both on the same team, right? And I can let that go. But you know what? She also learned from him, because she's still playing basketball in university right now. She's still playing basketball. And all those tips that daddy taught her, she's using it, because those are tips to help her succeed, right? So I had to learn, when I learned the skills, I had to learn to navigate that in a different way, in a way that brings the intimacy closer and not apart, because of my fears. It was my fears that was in the driver's seat, not the thought that we were both team having the same purpose for our daughter.
Doc, I don't know if we're going to even have time to continue. I have another question. Very good. By the way, L Plus Vlogs, girl, you bring good questions. Very good. She said, is it okay to disagree or argue in front of your children? And I'm going to put a spin.
Mhm.
Keep it real. Or do you go around? Yes, this is great.
All
Like,
right.
yeah, let's
Let me,
let's
let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story,
yes,
right?
ma'am.
So I worked hard one day coming back from work. I was so tired, right? I just got home, and then our daughter was sick. And my husband just came out of the room. I got into the house. I'm like, I was feeling, you know how it is, like you're the doctor. And my husband said, he said, Kome, call the doctor. And I paused, right? Before I learned the skills, I would have gone into, what do you mean? I'm the doctor. I know what to, this is just code, But you know what? I paused. Do you know what? I had to read his language. What he was trying to tell me, he knows I'll be stressed out. I won't be my best self. You know how it is when you're managing your own child. You go.
Not
So he
okay.
was looking for my best interest. So I paused, like redirected my brain. And I said, you know what? My husband and I are on the same team. There's a reason he spoke that way. And so I called the doctor. Guess what? The doctor took care of our daughters. I was able to rest that night. I didn't have to worry because someone else was taking that responsibility. And guess what? My husband and I, we no fights. Unlike him before, that would have fought. And, so just a sample of, I didn't argue in front of the kids. I listened to what he was saying because I felt, you know what? There must be a reason why he said that. And later it was because he was thinking about me. He knew I needed to rest and to just let go that responsibility for that day, and it worked out well. So these skills have actually helped me to navigate all those kind of situations that would usually have caused a fight in the past. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned something earlier, and I'm going to kind of pivot. You
Mhm.
keep talking about respect, and
Oh,
I've
yeah.
honest with you. Um, in my person, I had to learn to understand what respect means to my husband and communicate, not what I think it means. There's a
Yes.
big difference.
There's a big difference.
Why is that such a big deal? Because in this day and age, I think women also maybe want to be respected too, or want to feel, especially if you're women in position, and
Yeah.
so or you're making more. I don't know. So can we speak to
So that,
that
yeah,
respect,
respect.
thing?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I'm from Nigeria, right? So respect, we talk just like dobale and say, eka, rosa. Nah, nah, it's much more than that. You can be dobaling and in your heart, you're mad and angry.
Right.
That's
That's right.
not what it is. But if you go to what the scripture says, it says the wife must respect her husband and the husband must love the wife. It used to get me so angry. Why would they say must?
Me too.
Get me so mad. Must, right? The reason is that it is something that doesn't come naturally to us. And so God had to put that command, you must respect. And what does it look like? So because respect is actually oxygen to man,
Like candy in the kids store. It's I don't yeah.
no, this is not candy, it's oxygen. If I cut off your oxygen, you won't breathe.
Hmm.
If you disrespect a man, he would withdraw from you. In fact, if you disrespect a man, he would not have sex with you. Like people think that, oh, men want sex. If you disrespect him, he will forego sex because of that respect. That is how strong this is. So, what does it look like? Respect is trusting him,
Hmm.
believing the best about him. Respect is not rolling your eyes at him. Like you're thinking in your mind, oh, what do you mean? I know better. Like I used to be like the Wikipedia in my home before he says, I said, no, like he's telling me about some health issues. He said, he's not a doctor. I know all the stuff. And then I try to correct him and criticize him and tell him, all that is disrespect. So there are subtle ways that we're disrespectful. We're not even aware of it. So I had to learn all that. I didn't know. I felt like, look, where I thought respect is 50-50. Respect is supposed to be earned.
Hmm.
But actually, for intimacy to thrive, you actually give respect because you know that it is vital. And one of the things is this: respect is actually an aphrodisiac for men. When you
And it
respect,
works, girl. It works.
when, when you respect them, you're gonna skyrocket the action in the bedroom. Okay, I'll pause there.
And you can get him to do whatever you want.
Yes.
When a man feels respect, and I didn't understand this, I actually had a mentor who, and I strategically stayed with people who, were more traditional in their, in their role to not nurture a feminist side. I mean, I'm not talking about that, but to do it God's kind of way, because he's the originator of marriage. Respect is key. When a man feels respected, he thrives.
He
it,
tries.
it, it raises his kingship. It
Exactly.
empowers him. But when
Exactly.
you emasculate a man by your actions, by your gesticulations, and how you talk, the tone, oh,
And
they can smell
even
it.
your thinking. Even your thinking, down to your thinking, because the point is your energy, your thoughts are energy, they precede you. So when your husband thinks, he says to you, I don't think you mean what you just said. You might be saying, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. He's just saying you don't mean it because your energy is not of respect. You're just saying it, lip service. So what I do with women that I coach, we actually get to the nitty-gritty and help them show respect. And I tell you, they turn things around. If you want to stop quarrel in your family, you want to stop quarrel with your husband, respect is the key.
Now,
I cut down 90% of our fights with just that respect.
yes, yes. Now, for the person who is watching, who's like, I don't know if my husband deserves respect,
I hear you.
and I'm frustrated,
Mhm.
or I mean, why should I when he doesn't love me?
Okay. I
Because
hear.
it's love and respect, right?
Yeah.
Any words of encouragement?
Yeah. It's actually a painful place to be when you as a wife don't feel loved. And especially if you've been hurt, right? I'll give you a sample. It's just a woman that I coach. She's Muslim. And India religion, they can have two wives, right? Or
Mm.
four wives. So she was being hurt and I coached her and she's bringing respect back to the family. And the premise is that when she becomes her best self, right? Guess what? She will trump over the other women because she's different and is attracted more to her. And she started practicing this, and it's been amazing how he's the one calling more like, you're not calling me, what's going on, right? So it is a gift. It is a gift you give to him, not because he deserves it, but because he needs it. He needs it, and you are the one who sets the tone in the marriage, right? Because God has given you the power of influence. And when you work together, and I guess that's why God said you must, because that's how God made him. That's how God wired him. And so if you want to be the helper with God, then you do that. And you'll be amazed at what you find.
This is power. We're going to do a part two.
Yeah, I have so
It's,
much to share.
it's 3 minutes to the end. We're going to do a part two, and I'd like to ask live because you can't. It's hard to say no when you're live. So Doc,
Yeah.
Oseghale, will you do this again with us?
I would love to. Because you gave me 10 questions and I wrote like 5, 7 pages. So I have to share all these things because I can't keep it to myself. I can't.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! This has been so powerful, so helpful, such a powerful reminder and encouragement. We've got to play the long game, right? Marriage, ahead of our children, ahead of our future selves, ahead of 10 years of marriage ahead of us. So, but Doc, for those who are watching who are like, wait a minute, she's a coach, she's a what? I could have her come as a speaker on my platform. I want to, I don't know, sign up to work with her because I see it possible, or they want to watch your content to learn more from you, woman of God. Where can people find you?
So I have my website, www.thrivingwives.com. So you can find me there. You can find all the stuff that I do. And you can also find me on my personal Facebook page where Kome Oseghale, where I just share. I just share everything.
Yes, she does. That's how I found her.
And then I also have my Thriving Wife Club. There's a group where I got a group of wives together, and I just share there and share stuff, all the little tips I'm sharing here, and yeah, so that's where you can find me. I have Instagram and Facebook business page, but I'm not so techy. So where you find me is on Facebook. You find me through my website and and the Facebook group, Thriving Wives Club. Yeah.
So we have the website, we have you on Facebook, we have the Instagram, and we're putting them at the bottom. But I really want to appreciate you for coming to spend time with us. I know you're busy, so you taking the time. This has been very, very helpful. I'm looking forward to people watching this, catching the replay, because I know this is going to bless them. So thank you, Doc, big time.
Thank you, and I appreciate you. And this is the message I want to leave, that you can single-handedly transform your marriage. You can. If I did it, you can. Thank you.
We can change the narrative on marriage,
Exactly.
one wife at a time.
One way.
I love it. Thank you again so much. And thank you all so much for watching. Those of you who watched live replay, those of you who put great questions, who commented. As a gift, I'm also going to put at the bottom here link to our newsletter. And there's a video I did on how to exercise as a way to get closer to your spouse. So maybe you can start the respectful conversations while you're exercising together. So I'm
I
going to
have,
drop
I
that.
have, I have a story about that one too.
Please,
On our
please,
next
please.
time.
Oh, it's already 7 o'clock. Okay, so that's a good teaser. We'll do that next time. But thank you so much, Doc, for
All
coming.
right.
This was so good.
Thank
Shout out some of you who joined: Rosemary, Ida, Lou. Thank you, Dr. Doyle. Good to see you, Celia. Yay, Dr. Eve, Nikki, Lou, Isabella. Thank you all, and those of you who I can't see, giving you a shout out. Cheers to you. Cheers to better homes. One conversation, one mindset shift at a time. And as always, if you or anyone you know is looking for an awesome, a thorough and compassionate family physician that will have conversations like this to help you live long and well, I am she. Have a good one. Doc, hang out